Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are opening up the magical world of Disney, but we're looking at it through a really rigorous psychological lens.
Mm-hmm.
We're not here to talk about ball gowns or glass slippers.
Mm.
We're talking about core human motivation.
Exactly. We need to answer the big questions. I mean, why is a princess like Ariel, who has all the love and security in her kingdom, still desperate enough to trade her voice for, a chance at freedom?
Right. Or why is Elsa's struggle not really against a villain, but against her own internal, like, demand for flawlessness?
Those are the core motivations that make them so iconic. And the best tool we have for really unpacking those deep-seated drives is, well, it's the Enneagram.
The Enneagram, yeah.
It's not just another personality test. It's a map of 9 core personality structures. And it gets right to the root fears and desires that govern how we act.
So our mission for this deep dive is to basically assign one core Disney princess to each of the 9 types.
And to really understand the psychological engine that's driving her entire story.
And this kind of analysis gives you, the listener, a fantastic shortcut.
Yeah.
By looking at these fictional characters, you gain insight into the universal drives that push all of us.
Absolutely. When you see your own struggle in Mulan's courage or Tiana's work ethic, you get this immediate understanding of your own core fears and how they pop up in your everyday life.
Okay, so to give this some structure, we're going to organize our discussion using the 3 Enneagram centers of intelligence.
The gut, the heart, and the head. It just tells us where these characters process their world. Is it through instinct, emotion, or intellect?
Let's jump right in with the body or gut center, the instinctual center. It deals with issues of autonomy, control, and anger. This is home to types 8, 9, and 1.
And we have to start with type 8, the challenger, who is all about the need for self-determination. And that is Merida.
Oh, absolutely, Merida.
She is the purest expression of type 8 energy we have. For 8s, the absolute greatest fear is being controlled, dominated, or, made vulnerable by other people. They just meet the world with this raw, unfiltered energy.
Her declaration, "I'll be shooting from my own hand," that is the ultimate type 8 statement.
It is.
She doesn't hesitate. She doesn't fear conflict. She actively rejects her mother's traditions because they feel like chains.
And what's so fascinating is how that core drive leads into our next type. While 8s are about asserting boundaries and separation, our next princess, type 9, is about the exact opposite.
The peacemaker.
This is Pocahontas.
Pocahontas is all about merging with nature, with people, with everything.
Yeah.
Where Merida wants to assert her will, Pocahontas wants harmonious union.
Right. Her core motivation is to find peace, both inside and out, and to avoid conflict at all costs. I mean, she literally steps into the line of fire to shield John Smith.
A true mediator.
She is the calm, mediating presence that, in the face of just absolute chaos, unites these warring groups just by being there. She really embodies the 9's defense mechanism, just fuse with the environment so you don't rock the boat.
And linking that 8 control and 9 merging brings us to type 1, the perfectionist. Still in the gut center because they're managing instinct and really repressed anger.
And this is Elsa.
Elsa.
A lot of people think type 1 is just about being neat, but it's really about this inner compulsion to be good or right because their internal critic is just so vicious.
So her childhood mantra, conceal, don't feel, don't let them know, that's the definition of type 1 control.
Exactly. And the gloves, the frozen castle, those are just physical manifestations of her harsh inner judge. Her fear of everyone finding out is really a fear of her own flaws being revealed.
That makes so much sense.
And if we look at the type 1 stress path, they often move to the low side of type 4. They get moody and self-pitying. And that is exactly what happens when Elsa runs away to build her ice palace. She's just consumed by this feeling that she's fundamentally flawed.
So her antagonist wasn't really her powers.
Not at all. It was her own type 1 demand for flawless self-control.
Wow. Okay, that transition from gut-driven control to, well, heart-driven image is a perfect lead-in to our next segment, the feeling or heart center.
This is where we find types 2, 3, and 4. They're all focused on image, identity, and how they're seen by others.
And we start with type 2, the helper, defined by that drive to earn love and be indispensable.
The epitome of this is Snow White.
Oh, for sure. Think about it. The moment she stumbles upon the dwarf's cottage, she has no idea who lives there, right?
None.
But her immediate reflexive action is to clean the entire place and cook a meal. She doesn't stop to think about her own safety. She secures her belonging through service.
Her survival strategy is instant helpfulness and cheerfulness, even to the point of self-sacrifice. She's trying to cheer up Grumpy, who is the most resistant, even when her own life is in danger.
It's because she doesn't believe her core self is lovable enough on its own.
Exactly. She feels she has to become indispensable, answering needs before they're even asked.
So if type 2 focuses on relationships through service, then type 3, the achiever, focuses on gaining worth through, measurable success.
Enter Tiana.
Tiana, yes.
Tiana is type 3 to her core. Her entire identity is just wrapped up in what she achieves. While other princesses were waiting around, Tiana was working 2 jobs, totally focused on the goal of opening her restaurant.
Her iconic song, Almost There, is the perfect type 3 anthem. It's all about the relentless drive, the vision, the refusal to rest.
It is. And the deep insight there is that for Tiana, success isn't just a reward. It's like emotional oxygen. It wards off that core fear of being worthless. And this leads us so well to type 4, the individualist or the romantic. If 2s and 3s focus on their external image for acceptance, 4s focus internally on identity, authenticity, and being unique.
And that has to be our melancholy princess, Aurora.
It's Aurora.
Even when she's safe and hidden away, she still feels this constant sense of longing. She knows her life is secure, but it just feels ordinary, like she's incomplete.
Exactly. Type 4s are driven by a search for significance, for an ideal. She falls in love with the prince from her dreams before she ever meets him. She's chasing this enchanting, maybe even tragic, destiny.
The simple, ordinary life just won't cut it.
Right. And what makes her a 4 is that her longing is rooted in this absence of a unique identity. She feels like something vital is missing inside her. So if you've ever felt like no one really understands me, you're resonating with Aurora's type 4 drive.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, our final segment brings us to the head center. This is the realm of planning, anxiety, security.
Encompassing types 5, 6, and 7. These types approach the world primarily through their minds.
Let's start with type 5, the investigator, the princess who finds refuge in her mind. It has to be Belle.
It's Belle. Type 5 see the world as kind of chaotic and overwhelming, so their coping mechanism is to retreat into the safety of the mind, to conserve their energy.
And the villagers literally call her odd because she prefers books and ideas over, social gossip.
Right. She wants to be left alone with her thoughts. Her most romantic moment in the whole film is seeing the Beast's colossal library.
Oh, definitely.
And that isn't just a love of reading. That's a deep attraction to a sanctuary filled with information and safety, far away from shallow people like Gaston. Her quest is a search for meaning and knowledge so she can handle the world on her own terms.
Okay, so moving from the reserve type 5, we get to type 6, the loyalist. Also driven by anxiety and security, but they engage with the world very differently.
This is Mulan.
Mulan.
Mulan is the perfect illustration of what we call a counterphobic type 6. The 6 finds the world dangerous and looks for security through alliances and rules, and Mulan initially tries to follow the rules.
The disastrous matchmaker scene proves that.
It really does. She's trying to secure her family's status, but when that external security fails and her family is threatened, her loyalty just kicks in. She goes to war not for glory, not for adventure.
But to protect her father. Out of pure loyalty.
That's it. And the defining characteristic of a 6 is taking decisive action despite overwhelming fear. It's that internal declaration of, I am absolutely terrified, but my loyalty demands that I do this anyway.
That tension between fear and duty is the core of a type 6. I love that. And finally, rounding out the head center, we have type 7, the enthusiast, where 5s and 6s cope with anxiety by withdrawal or preparation. 7s cope by aggressively pursuing pleasure to escape discomfort.
We are talking about Ariel.
Ariel, pure, boundless type 7 energy.
Absolutely. Her core fear is being trapped, limited, or experiencing emotional pain. She has a grotto overflowing with treasures. She is royalty, and yet she sings, I want more.
The ocean isn't enough. She needs the next adventure, the next world.
So when her father destroys her collection and restricts her, she's confronted with her ultimate nightmare limitation. And she chooses freedom at any cost, even trading her core self, or her voice, to escape that trap.
So if you're always planning the next big thing, if you can't sit still and you're always seeking novelty to avoid boredom,
you resonate with Ariel's deep need for freedom and her future-focused optimism.
Wow. That was an incredible journey through all 9 types. The main insight for me is just how deeply rooted these characters are in universal psychology.
Right. Whether they process through instinct, emotion, or thought, Every princess's defining action is a direct result of a core internal drive.
It shows us that these Disney characters are so much more than just surface-level heroes.
They're perfect mirrors. They reflect our own fundamental hopes and, more importantly, our defenses against our biggest fears.
So we'll turn this analysis over to you. Which princess did you identify with most strongly? Are you the challenger, Merida, always asserting your independence?
Or the helpful Snow White, earning your way into people's hearts. Or maybe the knowledge-seeking Belle, finding safety in the world of the mind.
And once you have one in mind,
Here's the provocative thought we want to leave you with. Once you identify your princess, focus intensely on her core fear. If you are the achieving Tiana, your fear is worthlessness. If you're the enthusiastic Ariel, your fear is being trapped. Reflect on how that specific underlying fear dictates your own small, everyday actions, the things you avoid, the things you overcommit to. That right there is a true deep dive into yourself.